We look forward to another year with our major sponsor, West Ashfield from the Holman Barnes Group. The new umbrella brand acknowledges their 22 years of partnership with our beloved West Tigers and is named after legendary Keith Holman and Keith Barnes, who were included in the list of the nation's finest footballers of the 20th century and both admitted into the Australian Rugby League Hall of Fame. Visit any of their three venues, West Ashfield, Croydon Sports or Markets Club, to enjoy all your favourite games from the home of the West Tigers. For more information, visit their website holmanbarnesgroup.com.au. HOLMANBARNES Group. And welcome into another episode of the WestsLife podcast. We are sponsored by Holman Barnes Group. That includes West Ashfield Leagues and all their amazing venues, and the best place to watch a game live and loud this Sunday afternoon. I'm sure they'll have the game on despite it being a trial. So good that they cover trials as well. At WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Give us a follow. Lots of good stuff going on the socials, lots of great discussions. I know Mr. Bashara here was hotly debating the Appy Koroisau captaincy on his Twitter today, so the socials are hot at the moment. If you want to support and take part in the show, we've got a few questions from our Patreon members later in the show, patreon.com/WestsLife, and shout out to all our YouTube and Facebook streamers right now joining in. While you're there, like, subscribe, turn notifications on. And welcome in, Mr. Bashara. I'll go to you first. The Appy Koroisau captaincy news that dropped literally as we're live on the air Monday night. So that was an instant reaction. I know you've been, as I said before, you've been pretty hotly debating it today. How are you feeling on this Wednesday evening? And yeah, we're gonna talk about the Appy thing a little bit more because we've got some Tim Sheens interview to listen to about the whole thing. But how are you feeling about the whole thing at the moment?
Well, firstly, I hope you guys are well, and hi to all the listeners out there. Look, as I said Monday night, you actually asked who we thought was going to be the captains, and I actually nominated Appy as vice captain. So, just playing devil's advocate, I just think if you're one of these people who's upset by what he said at the end of last year, then we should have ripped his contract up and he shouldn't be in the team. So you've just got to accept it and move on. All I was debating today wasn't so much him being captain. It's just the fact, like I gave the pros as to why he should be captain. He's a 3-time premiership winner, probably the most successful player in the team, etc., etc. But then I kind of heard other arguments. He's never captained another club before. But the part that I thought was amazing, even though the people I'm debating with on Twitter say it's quite normal, is that there was a vote amongst the players as to who they wanted as captain, and they actually had two choices, and that was a large consideration. Obviously, the coaches had the final say, and I just thought that was highly unusual. That's all, because, and like I say, who am I to question Tim Sheens? But I would look at Tim Sheens as he's been a coach for 40 years. He's had this playing group for 3 months, so he's observed everyone training, how everyone reacts to everyone else, who would get the best out of each other, who is the best person to lead the team. So I just think from all that observation and his experience, he just would have said, well, I think he's the best person to be captain, and I think he's the best person to be vice captain, and that's it. And that's actually how I thought it all came about when we went to air on Monday night. But having since found out yesterday that it went to a vote, I just thought it was really weird. But then I got other people who I chat with regularly saying it's quite normal, and I just don't think it's really normal. Like, what if they voted on, for example, how many training sessions do we have a week? Do we have 10 training sessions or 5? Like, what are the players going to vote? They're going to go vote 5. Like, I just don't think you let players do those sort of votes. I get the fact that they want to work out who's going to respond to who and all that sort of thing, but surely Sheens would see that through training. And I just thought he came up with Koroisau because of how well he's training. He's, going to touch the ball more than anyone in the game, etc., etc. I just found it really weird as to how we got to that decision. I just thought it just should have been made by his observations, not by the inmates kind of running the prison, for want of a better term.
And Aaron Thompson coming in from his house in Orange. How are you tonight, Az?
Not too bad, thanks, Josh. It's a bit hot in my room this evening. I've got my fan on, but it doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot for me. So I hope everyone else is a little bit cooler than I am at the very least. I'll wiping the sweat off my head at the moment.
Before you know it, you'll be back in the beanie and jacket live on the air.
Oh, I have a feeling that'll be around like mid to late April. That time normally comes around Anzac Day, so that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, the country life. Yeah, pros and cons. Look, no traffic, beautiful scenery, fresh air, but the harsh winters and harsh summers out there. I don't know how you do it. Okay, we've got it. We're trying to make the Wednesday shows brief, but there's actually plenty to talk about in what's still, I guess, the off season. Obviously, a trial to talk about this weekend. Lots of players included in that, so we'll preview that as well. But we've already touched on it before. We talked a little bit about it on Monday. Appy Koroisau is captain of the West Tigers for this year, and Tim Sheens, I've got a clip of him talking about it to 2GB yesterday afternoon, I think it was, Rob.
Yes, 6:30 in the evening on 2GB.
Yesterday evening. So
I think with Adam Hawes.
Some good stuff. Yeah, good stuff from Sheensy. He's very good with the media and that sort of thing. So as on screen, obviously people on audio won't be able to see it, but I have put Appy not only in a hat straight out of Gilligan's Island, but that's the brand new release today, Captain's Run jersey. What are your thoughts on the new jersey?
I like it. I like that it's a predominantly white one because we haven't had one of those, I think, since the nines a couple years ago. I don't like it as much as I liked the one that had, I think it was Leichhardt, the image of Leichhardt on the front and Campbelltown on the back. I thought that was really cool, but I do like the color scheme. I've noticed a few people in the Discord saying it seems like a bit of a throwback to the Sevens jersey.
Those claw marks,
yeah, and I saw the images of it, and I could kind of agree. So it looks pretty cool. I like it. They do seem to like doing something fresh. So I mean, we've got that for the captain's run. We've got the Beyond Blue themed warm up jerseys. So yeah, club's doing well with the jerseys at the moment, I think.
Yeah, Brandon just said on YouTube, it's better than the home jersey. Yeah, I wouldn't be unhappy if this was a playing jersey. What are your thoughts, Rob? Had you seen this yet?
I had seen it. I love it, but I don't know if I'm, just being a Tiger supporter, but have we really ever had a bad jersey? Like, I love all
the yellow one from Foundation Cup yellow jersey 2010. Okay. That was
fair enough.
Hideous. I mean, it was only a trial match. Remember the Foundation Cup against the Roosters? Yeah. You do see them getting around at games sometimes. It was like literally like fluoro yellow. They were pretty gross. But can you think of any bad jerseys that we've had? The white, I have this jersey and I have it in a Robbie Farah, like a spare Robbie Farah cut number 9. Yeah. But the grey and white one that we had, what year was that? I want to say 2016, maybe 16 or 17. Might have been 15. The grey was grey or probably white. It's only a little bit, not to get in the colour ratio stuff, but I don't mind a white jersey, but you got to throw in a decent amount of black and Orange. But Tiger 24/7 just said the grey jerseys, so he's obviously thinking
he's
the
right.
Same one.
I think I blocked that out of my memory, but I think you should have captioned that. You should have captioned that, Josh. Happy, Cappy, Happy.
Oh, you do like my Krusty the Clown.
It's not too bad.
K for captain.
Yeah, double K. I recognise that.
I thought you missed an opportunity with the name of Monday's episode. I thought you could have just called it "Are we happy with our new captain?"
Ah, very good.
I did say are we happy with Appy? I did rhyme in the in the caption. I was a little bit creative with that. So many
Sorry, you keep going.
Yeah, no, you go. I'm just bringing up the Sheensy's quotes about it. We'll play that. But what were you going to say?
I was just going to say the only jersey I can think of since I really started paying attention, like since I became a member back in 2016, I think it was the 2017 alternate jersey where it was like orange across the front with like white on one shoulder, black on the other, and the black was kind of slanted inwards.
Yeah, I didn't mind that jersey. Yeah, I have
I
that
didn't like that
jersey.
one too much.
I have 33 West Tigers jerseys, I think now, but didn't mind that jersey. I specifically this is so weird. I can remember this. I wore that to the Easter game. We played against the Eels on Easter Monday, and it was my birthday, and we lost. What year was that? I want to say 2016.
17?
Yeah, I wore it to that. So maybe because we lost, I never wore it again. That's probably one of my most worn jerseys, just because it's so simple. It's not very busy. I wear that one quite a lot, actually. So sorry to disagree with you there, but it's all what do you call it? Subjective. Subjective?
Yes, subjective.
Yeah, subjective. Righto. This is what Sheensy had to say about the captaincy with Appy Koroisau on 2GB last night. So it goes for about a minute. So I've cut a little highlights package here for you to listen to.
I've seen in what time he's been at the club. I've seen the natural leadership, but and so have the players, because it was a player vote, and coaches had a say as well. And I put it all together, and Appy has got the numbers, and I think got the right feeling amongst the players to be the natural leader. He does it at training. He's certainly the most highly decorated player we've got. So, there's all those things point to, and he's in a position where he carries us forward, or leading by example. So, lots of good things, I think. Simple. It's a private vote, and basically first and second choice, and Appy polled extremely well in that. Mind you, I have also come out of that with a small leadership group of other players who were voted for, so now I know who to speak to when we start talking about what's going on in the club, what needs to be done. Also, when Appy's not on the field, who would be someone that you would appoint as a standby captain while he's there. More than happy, he said he didn't come to the club to stand in the background, so he was quite happy to accept it and was humble about the fact that the players voted for him. First year at a club, sometimes players, as popular as they might be or well known, don't particularly want that burden, and it is a burden. You do got to carry that sort of thing. As captain, there's lots of things you've got to do to represent the club as well as the team on field. It's not just winning the toss, Adam. So anyway, no, he was at all. A number of the other players who had been voted for too came from other clubs, and this year. So at the moment, I'm happy with what they did, and the players have had 3 months to get to know him, or the best part of that. So, I'm more than happy with the way the choice went.
Righto, Rob. So he asked a couple of questions in between there, but he kept going back to the player poll sort of thing. It almost sounds like Sheens is basically, I wouldn't say wiping himself of the decision, but it seems like it's had a massive, you kind of talked about it already, but it had a massive influence, basically the players. And you mentioned before the players running the asylum, but does it sound a bit like Sheens maybe wouldn't have gone with Appy, or
I've got some serious inside information, factual inside information, that Sheensy's first choice was Joffa. Okay, and it was pointed out to him that Joffa might not even be in the team. That's how strong our forward pack is in terms of starting. So when that was pointed out, I believe that's when he was sort of open to suggestions. And I think, look, as long as they've come up with who they want in the end, that's fine. But I know for a fact that Sheens was going to go towards Joffa. So obviously the players' vote has had a significant influence, and I dare say, he's got other coaches there as well that would have influenced that decision as well. But like the $64 question is, he does mention in that clip who's going to be captain while he's off the field. So he's obviously there is an admission that Appy's not going to play 80 minutes, obviously. So who's going to take over from there? That's going to be interesting to see.
Well, they haven't named you mentioned on Twitter today, as will whoever's named this weekend be vice captain, but that with no Brooksy, it might be him. Who knows? But how do you feel as about it being a player vote rather than Sheen saying no? We're going. I want this guy to be, because at the end of the day, he's got to go to the press conference with Sheensy. He's basically the voice between Sheens and the players. It is a little bit odd that you wouldn't just go with the coach's first choice.
I mean, I guess the coaches, Benji in particular, has some ideas about what he wants Joffa's role to be, whether that's the case moving forward from while Tim's the coach before, and then Benji himself taking over. But yeah, as for the player vote, I do find it a bit interesting. It was how we ended up with the 5 captain fiasco last year, which thankfully Tim and Noddy revoked once they basically took over the team. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, I guess looking at it from what Appy said after the Panthers won the grand final, I guess the players don't care all that much about it if he's been voted the captain by the other players. So, I mean, I guess he must have been showing his teammates enough that he's a leader and wants to lead from the front at the club. So I don't know. I'm going to hope that the team have been good judges of who should be their captain. But I guess the only way we're going to find out is by watching the team play. And obviously, Appy's not playing this week, so we're going to have to wait a couple more weeks to see how that goes.
Yeah. Rob, is there anything else you can take away from that Sheens comment? So,
no, look, I guess even it's going to sound contradictory because I kind of want the coach to make the decision, but at the same time, it just shows that Sheens is trying to get with the times and adapt and not be so domineering in his decisions. He's happy to listen to other views. Like I get that part of it, and I've heard some good arguments, like I say yesterday and today about it. Look, the first thing I did after Monday night's pod, Josh, and we knew Appy was captain, I kind of basically put a tweet saying, look, there are pros and cons, and I get the reasons why for both, but as a supporter base, we've just got to move on and accept it now. Like we can discuss it now, which is great. We're that's what shows are about, to discuss and have our opinions. But we've just got to all get behind it now. Like I hated what he said about the team last year, and I'm sure lots of people hated it. But if we're accepting him into the club, then we just got to forget about it. Otherwise, don't want to remind him every week. It's just like reminding Dane Laurie about wearing the Penrith jersey. We just got to let that go. Like it's ancient history now. So. I just hope the players follow him and listen to him, and we have a good year. That's all we can hope for.
Well, the good segue, Rob, because I do have a clip about from Sheens talking about that comment.
What's done with a few beers in you after a grand final is, and of course the media are always going to hound you, and that's the nature of the internet these days. Things are always out there, but look, this isn't, as far as I'm concerned, it's got nothing to do with where we're at. He had been at the club now. He hadn't even arrived at the club at the time, and I'm happy with what's happened since he got here, and so are the players. So again, I stress that they were the ones who have to be led by, and they felt led by him is the way to go.
So yeah. So Rob, your take from that?
Look, I agree with all. I agree with all that, except the part that he wasn't at the club yet. He'd signed a contract with the West Tigers. Have some respect for the club you're going to, and don't say shit like that. I'm not going to let that go under the influence of beer. That's bullshit. But the rest of it, about moving on and all that, I 100% agree with it. But he never should have said that. If you or me signed with our next employer and shat on him like that, I don't think we could just say, oh, well, hang on, I was just drunk or had a few beers, and it was the wrong thing. And Appy's admitted it's the wrong thing, and we've just got to move on from it. But no, I don't agree with that part of what Sheen said, but I totally agree with the rest of it.
Right, we'll move on from Appy and on to John Bateman, who we're still waiting to be approved to get in the country. And Sheensy, thankfully, he gave an update on that. So here's Sheensy on John Bateman and trying to get him over and into the West Tigers playing squad?
The main thing at the moment is waiting for the police report here from Australia. So, and somehow that's got mixed up. But we're on it at the moment, and hopefully it'll sort itself out in the short term. Not prepared to say when, where, and how, but it looks like we've finalised what the major hold-up was.
So as that sounds like, hopefully we'll get him. I mean, it's crazy. Like, how long ago did he sign? He signed, was it before Christmas that he signed?
I think it was Boxing Day. The club announced it.
So crazy that it's taken this long to get an English import in. I don't remember another. Can you remember another professional athlete, especially from the UK, like having such an issue getting into the country? It's weird.
No, I can't think of any time where that's happened.
Like, it's just crazy. This, like, especially just between Commonwealth countries, you can kind of understand. I don't know, coming from America or where there's visa issues and that working visas and stuff are a little bit harder. But man, how many Aussies are over there pouring beers in England now? And
what was it, Josh? Wasn't it like a $42 visa application or something? Something really pathetic like that. Isn't that what the hold up was about?
Yeah, no idea. So fingers crossed. It's
that's what I saw today as well.
Sorted. Yeah, I know Lee. There's a story on SEN. Lee talked about it a bit, but he pretty much was talking about what Sheensy saying there, and I think the club they're not really revealing the exact details of it. So time will tell. Time will tell. Righto, on to the footy this weekend. So we're playing the Canberra Raiders at Belmore on Sunday at 3:55 p.m, I believe. Let me just double check that. So we'll go through the team list. I should put the time up there. Dave Laurie at fullback, David Nofaluma and Cam Malo on the wings, Brent Naden and Tommy Talau in the centres, Adam Dwayhe at 6, and Brandon Wakeham is at 7. Luke Brooks is out injured. Tim Sheens did share something about Brooksy, which I'll play in a minute, but as much better looking backline than last week.
And compared to last year and with the signings we've made so far, I think that's almost as good as our backline can potentially get. I do think our centres should swap sides, but that's another issue altogether. I think, Rob was saying after the All-Stars game that Brent definitely made it clear that he was a right centre and playing on the left alongside Noffa. That seems like a bit of a risky combination to me. I'm sure we'll see if that gets terrorised by Canberra on Sunday, Arvo.
2:55 p.m. kickoff, not 3:50. These weird trial times threw me off. I couldn't remember if it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. It's meant to be a bit of a scorcher. I hope we're not wearing black jerseys, Rob. It's going to be.
I don't think we will be.
I bet you we're wearing black jerseys and Canberra wearing their whites. I bet you.
I doubt it. Hopefully Canberra's wearing their green and it won't matter what we wear then.
Yeah. What names of that list are you keen to see, Roberto?
Oh, look, I'm keen to see Dane Laurie get a full game at fullback, or at least, a lot of time at fullback. I want to see what Noffa's like. Like he had a pretty bad year last year. Kenny, the way Kenny played last year was amazing. I just want Kenny to get through this, no injuries. Aaron, I reckon, as we were talking about with the centres, I think Brent Naden would have played, 12 weeks in training at left centre. I've got a feeling if Kapoa comes on, and Kapoa being a left centre, we might get to see Naden play both sides this week. So hopefully Naden swaps sides. But the onus is going to be on Adam Dwayhe. I mean, I think Brandon Wakeham's just going to be giving the ball to Adam and saying run the show, because as we said, Wakeham's only been there for 2 or 3 weeks. So I think a lot's going to hinge on Adam. But just overall as a team, we need to put in a really big performance because, as soon as we had that poor trial, I mean, sure, I criticised it a bit Monday night, but if you looked at all the media outlets, they were starting to rip into us already. They love nothing more than the bag of, shit out of us. Yeah. So I think we need a good it doesn't have to be a win, but it just has to be super competitive for most of the game. So Look, that's as good a backline, unfortunately, as we have available. Like, it's not. I don't think it's a great backline, but that's the best we've got right now.
So what changes would you make? Obviously, Brooksy at 7.
Yeah, I think Brooksy, and it's going to be a fight between Salau and Kapoa for that last spot. But that's what I thought all pre-season. I didn't think Charlie Staines was going to get a start on the wing, and obviously Dane had that fullback position cemented. So I'm glad that Naden's not being deemed as a winger anymore, which is great. Always thought Adam should be number 6, but that could potentially have changed if Moses had come straight away. There were a few little combinations that could have been tinkered with, but as for who's available this week, that is unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because of Wake and we don't really have another backup halfback. That's as good a back line as we can field, in my opinion.
Nathan Castilli wrote, isn't number 3 right centre? I don't know if he's serious or if it's the inside joke.
Well, Tommy played right centre in the trial, and now hopefully Sheens, you saw how good Naden was, but I just can't see them undoing 12 weeks of training Naden on the left and then switching him to the right because he had one good game. But I'm hoping, in a bit of time that will happen because, Naden's such a strong runner of the ball and got that big right foot step and the right foot flick. So it's just a waste on the left side.
Yeah, isn't the old number debate. Just let them wear what number they want. In the forwards, we have Stefano Utoi Kamanu and David Clemmer at front row. Jakey Simpkin is at hooker. Isaiah Papali'i and Alex Seyfarth, second row. And I think we said the other night, Alex Twal, we probably won't see him in the 13 jersey anymore. It only took 24 hours, and sure enough, he's named in the 13 jersey. A little bit, couple of surprising picks here, I reckon.
Yeah, surprising, but it's still a pretty solid forward pack. I mean, maybe 12 isn't a bad choice for 13, especially if he has been working on his offense in the preseason. We did start to see some improvement from him last year, so I'm hopeful that continues. Be good if he can develop a really solid offload. That's probably the most important thing, because if he's carting a few boys down the field from the 13 and is able to pop an offload, that's a really good thing for our halves to be able to take advantage of. But front row, that is a great front row, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the momentum they're able to give Jake and the halves. That I'm looking forward to that. And Seyfarth was the surprise for me. I thought maybe we'd see Blore starting to give him a chance, because I think he's who's going to be starting come round 1. But maybe they're trying to just ease him into it a little bit more, considering he still hasn't played all that much in, year and a half now. So,
yeah, I don't know. I'm a Sean Blore stan, as the kids say, but yeah, I think Sean will come off the bench to start with, considering he's had a year out. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the 4-pack, Rob?
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. I like Seyfarth is a massive surprise at second row. He did play quite well, to be fair.
He did have a good game.
But I mean, to think that he'd start ahead of Blore, etc., it's kind of a bit of a. I mean, I guess maybe that's a reward, because Tim Sheen said anyone that does pretty well in the first trial would get rewarded with, with some sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, a promotion, I suppose. And then Twally at 13, we've had Benji talking about how he wants a ball-playing lock. That doesn't really look like a ball-playing lock to me. So
yeah.
all I could put down those two selections, Seyfarth and Twal, is they're on for like 20, 25 minutes just to absorb the defensive workload. And we're not going to really be too expansive in the first 20, 25 minutes of the game. They're probably there just to, catch Papali and Tapine and those sort of big boppers that Canberra have got, because I like, if you told me that that's who was going to start, I just would have laughed at you. I really would have, because maybe Twally to start at prop, but yeah, I can see Twal getting a rest pretty early. It'll be his first action, since the Canterbury win that we had at Leichhardt Oval. So, Blore's going to be there. And the other thing too, maybe Sheensy is looking at that second row spot, because let's face it, even if Bateman gets here in a fortnight, you're not going to throw him straight in round 1 on one training session as a starter. Like, we'll probably have him on the bench, but I can't see Bateman starting with basically no training sessions with the team. So I don't know. I mean, look, it's a trial. I mean, we'll just see how it pans out. But yeah, I feel bad for Bloor. I thought Bloor was an absolute shoo-in to get one of those spots.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a trial. I don't think Sheens would he really be strategizing to win this. They're probably going to play it in quarters, so I think it's going to be jumbled up a little bit, trying a couple of different things. That's why it's kind of odd to not really throw out for a team that's made so many changes. Like, it's basically we're going to go into round one kind of not really knowing. Well, like obviously at training they would have been training in certain positions, but not getting combinations on the field and that sort of thing. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
and obviously,
don't put it past Sheensy for a little shuffle pre-game too. Like, even though he's known that, I mean, Twally and Seyfarth could start on the bench, and Bloor might end up starting. Like, it's not unlike Sheens to not change the team within half an hour before the game. So that's a possibility. But I think there is going to be a bit of pressure to do well this week. Well, I've got to be honest. I really want a good performance this week, even though it is only a trial. I kind of need to see more, because I felt like the structure we played with last week is what we're going to see from everyone, no matter who's there, and I need to see better than that.
Obviously, Api Koroisau is out, as is Luke Brooks. Tim Sheens did say a few words about this in that interview as well.
He's training. His injury is pretty clear at the moment. We're just not risking him at this point. That's come from last season, his injury. Whereas Api, last Friday, trained fully when we were in New Zealand and had a small twinge. Scans show very little issue, but I'm not prepared to push him into a trial this week when we've got 3 weeks to season. So we'll take a precautionary stance on that one, and and it's the same with Brooks. We'll just that's half our spine, and very important couple of people to get back into our team. So they're still training, but I'm not prepared to.
Yeah. So, obviously taking precautions. That's what I tweeted out on the WestsLife Pod Twitter about basically being semi-worried about combinations not going to be formed by round one. Api Koroisau, won't play a game for us until round one, and a few people added me in return. I also used like a meme as well. I thought I was kind of being tongue in cheek, but it got hammered. People saying, "No, it's only a trial. Don't risk injury." I'm like, I know. Like, yeah, it's the right thing. Any slight little niggle. It's 24 games in the season, but I don't know. The first 2 games at Leichhardt, hopefully, it's enough to get us over the line. Like, would you almost hope that it was harder games to start with and then play at Leichhardt once combinations got through? I don't know, time will tell, but yeah, fingers crossed the boys. And it's the Titans and what is it? Titans Knights. So I don't know. Hopefully the talent is enough, and we can get a couple of wins in those. So we really need, it's obviously only 2 out of 3 Leichhardt games. We really need to get those ones locked in. Righto, the bench. So Fanua, Pole, Charlie Staines, Sean Bloor, Tukey Simpkins are 14 to 17. Not that it really matters. The bench is the bench in a trial. So Justin Matamua, Asu, Kepa Oa, Atasi James, Stafford Toa, Junior Tupou, and Brandon Tumeth and Will Smith in 18 to 24. Tumeth gets the Michael Jordan 23 this week. I say that jokingly, but have you guys ever noticed, maybe because I am a basketball fan and noticed the number 23 as well, shouts RIP Shane Warne as well, but whenever a player gets called in late, like they often, because they named 21, you'd think they go, but no, they named 21. They usually skip 22 and they pick a 23. So part of me thinks, do players like want to pick 23? I don't know. It's just a random observation that I've noticed that late call up players that are stars not wearing their normal jerseys like to get that 23. But anyway, the bench, Rob, what are your thoughts? Plenty of watch there between obviously Sean Bloor coming back. Tukey Simpkins, I'm hoping he looked okay in the trial. He had a good offload, and that's still not the trial, sorry, in the All-Star game. Obviously, my guy Sean Bloor, keen as to see him back on the footy field. Who was it? Randomizer mentioned I heard Bloor spent time with the rehab crew recently. At the open training day, he didn't take part in the scrimmage and he was running down the sidelines back and forth. So, possibly there, but he's named on the bench. So I'm assuming if they're playing him in a trial, his body's sweet to go. So Kim mentioned no Joffa. Yeah, no one's mentioned no Joffa in the side this week. Do you think that's just because he's old and they just kind of say, that's all right, Joffa? He's like, an experienced players don't really need a trial. Plus, he's been in the side for a minute now.
I stand corrected, Josh, but I think like everyone else in the club, he's got a calf injury. I think everyone's got a bit of a calf thing going on at the moment. I'm sure Joffa's got an injury, otherwise he'd be playing for sure. So
I think I remember seeing something that said 3 players were out injured. I think it was Appy, Brooks, and Joffa.
Yeah, I thought Brooks was the calf.
I actually think all 3 of them are calf. I think Koroisau's a calf, and I think Joffa was a calf as well. So we've got some old 3 men with old man injuries.
Yeah, calf injuries. What are they? Too much basketball on the new basketball field they've got on top of the.
But look, of that bench, Josh, I mean, Pole was fantastic, as I said, Monday night. Sheens was really good. Looking forward to seeing Bloor. Didn't see enough of Simpkins in the All-Star game for mine, so want to see more of that. Want to see Matamua play better. Even looking down the bottom there, I want to see Will Smith and how he goes. Tumeth was amazing. The part that actually surprises me, from what I saw in the trial on Saturday, I'm really disappointed Sione Fainu didn't get a run. I actually thought he was really good, and he can't make, the top 24 players. So I actually thought Fainu would have been there. He impressed me quite a bit. But look, that's good for us. Plenty of forward depth, as I keep raving on about.
No Rua, I just noticed in this one, he's got the hook. So out of, what have we got? How many bench players are there? 11 bench spots. He didn't get one as.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised after his performance in that first trial. It wasn't all that great. So I think they probably maybe felt Tumeth deserved the spot a bit more over him, or maybe it was James who took that spot off him. But if Sheensy's given a few of our younger guys another run based on merit from the first trial, I think it's pretty fair to say that Rua misses out.
I think Smith will get that Rua spot there, Aaron. I think it's he played dummy half, so I think it's just more about giving Smith a bit of a run, perhaps.
Does anyone know in the comments? Let me know where New South Wales Cup. They've got nothing on the website, New South Wales RL website, about where Cup are playing this weekend. So it's a double header. So I don't know if they're playing before us. Plus, it'd be way too hot to play that time of the day. Although the Cup, I do know Penrith's Cup side played before their game last week out in Penrith at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So maybe, this heat, man, this heat wave on Sunday. Fingers crossed. I mean, cramps. Fingers crossed. We just get through this game.
Josh, did you see that bombshell that just got dropped in Discord?
Good. Have a read of it. I'll keep the show moving.
I can't read it. It's disappeared off my telephone. But
okay.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a bit of talk that possibly we're pretty confident of getting Moses.
Okay.
Via a board member, I believe it. Anyway.
Okay.
Bit of speak. I can't read it while the notification keeps disappearing off my phone. But anyway.
Right. Time will tell. I mean, we've been hearing Moses. We've all heard Moses talk and rumor and that sort of thing. So I don't know. Fingers crossed there was obviously a story on Fox Sports today about the whole thing, Rob.
Yeah, that we've apparently Para's or Moses' management is saying that we've offered $2.1 million more over the whole term, and there's a few ways you can look at it, but one of them from our point of view is it's probably being leaked because he might be about to agree with us, and that might make the Parramatta fans backlash just a little bit less louder than what it would be, because how can you begrudge a bloke making $2 million more over 5 years? So that's one theory, but like you said, there's been more talk about Moses than the biblical one over the last 2,000 years. So yeah, we'll just see how it pans out.
Yeah, he's parting a sea of cash, you could say.
Definitely.
Right on the Canberra Raiders side, Jordan Rapana, Nick Kotrick, Matthew Timoko, Sebastian Chris, Harley Smith, Shields, Jack Whiten, and Jamal Fogarty is their backline. Forward pack, Joshua. How do you say Papali's name?
Is it Papali'i or?
No, that's our
That's our
guy.
one. Okay.
I think they both are.
They're both, because they're spelled different. Danny Levi, Emre Gula, Hudson Young, Elliot Whitehead, Joseph Tapane, thank you. Brad Schneider, Matt Frawley, Corey Naira, Corey Horsburgh, Tom Starling, James Schiller, Pasami Salo, Albert Hopewadi, Ata Malota, Trey Mooney, Atula Esamua, Brad Morkos, Elijah Anderson on the bench. The starting signs are pretty strong there for the Raiders. I don't know too much about a lot of those names that I was struggling to read out in the back end of that one. As pretty strong side for the Raiders, though.
Yeah, pretty solid. I think there's only a few players missing for them, and one of them was the fullback who was playing against the Dogs but got injured. So Rapana's replacing him at fullback. But yeah, Jack Whiten, he played really, really well in the All-Stars game, so he's obviously going to be a big threat for us on Sunday. We'll have to shut him down. Their forward pack, as always, is pretty solid. Hudson Young, Josh Papali'i, both getting another run. Tapane as well, with Harawira, Naira, and Horsburgh on the bench. So yeah, they're solid all around the field. They finished 8th last year for pretty good reason. They're expected to be up there again this year because apparently they've got the softest draw in the entire comp. So we'll see how that pans out for them. But yeah, they've got threats all across the park, and we're going to have to shut them down if we want to come away with the win. But obviously, priority I think for the trial is to get those guys a run out there and without getting injured.
What are your thoughts on this side, Rob? Before we get to Robstradamus in a couple of segments' time, but
look, that's the strongest side as they could field. They're going to be really hard to beat. I'm not. I don't know if we can beat them. To be fair, that is a really strong side. When you look at that extended bench, I would have thought Tom Starling would be starting this year. He's not even in the 17. He looks like he's the first guy on the extended bench there. So, bit surprised with Danny Levi. Danny Levi is just like a good strong runner from dummy half, but he's got the new Brown Rua thing where he's a big hog. He'll just scoot from dummy half himself all the time. So I don't know. I mean, he's obviously training the house down in Canberra, but yeah, I would have thought Starling would have got the nod, well and truly ahead of Levi. But the size of that pack, good strong centers. Obviously, they're missing Xavier Savage, who got a broken jaw, unfortunately, on the weekend against Canterbury. So he's going to be out for quite a while. And obviously, they've lost Nickel Clockstad. They let him go to New Zealand. So I guess Rapana's their makeshift fullback. So hopefully we'll play well. But I don't know much about that extended bench other than Starling, and really can't read the other names. But yeah, it's going to be a big match, and hopefully it'll be pretty hot on Sunday, and they'll get pretty tired.
Right, on to our partners in Mobile Corp. So Mobile Corp joined us as partners for this season. And as I try to find, there it is. So Stephen from Mobile Corp, long-time listener of the WestsLife podcast and passionate West Tigers supporter. And you may remember Mobile Corp. They were the major sponsor of Balmain / Sydney Tigers in the mid-90s under the guise of MLC phones. And they have a saying in IT, there are only two types of companies, those who have been hacked and those who will be hacked. So what can business owners do to protect themselves from cyber attack? They can get Mobile Corp. They're a family-run tech company that supports the West Tigers and was even a jersey sponsor back in 2007. Mobile Corp are passionate about helping protect businesses from cyber threats. And for an affordable cybersecurity solution, go to mobilecorp.com.au. Support some Tiger fan company and obviously WestsLife partners as well. Welcome to Mobile Corp. Righto, lower grades this weekend. Harold Matts, Balmain are playing the Bears at the 8th Wonder of the World in Leichhardt Oval at 10:30 a.m. Nice to get a game. Still be pretty warm at 10:30, but get the game done in the morning. I guess by the back end of that game, it's gonna be midday, 10 a.m. for the Maggies. They're playing out at Camden, that's gonna be pretty toasty out that way, even more so than Leichhardt. I guess at least Leichhardt might have a little bit of a sea breeze, but 10 a.m. against the Rabbitohs and SG Ball. So Tigers Bears at Leichhardt is at midday for ball, and then 4 p.m. in the afternoon for Magpies Rabbitohs out at Kirkham Oval, Camden. Harvey Norman Women's Premiership and Tasha Gale, they're also at Camden, so they're in between those two men's. Do you call them men's, boys games? They're under 18 men/boys games. So the girls, 1 p.m. for Tasha Gale, 2:30 p.m. for Harvey Norman. So 4 games back to back out in Camden if you can get along and support the Magpies / West Tigers. Laurie Daly Cup, the MacArthur West Tigers are playing the Bulls in both Laurie Daly Cup and Andrew Johns Cup, 12 p.m. and 1:20 p.m. And they're playing in Leeton. Rob, where's Leeton? I should have looked that up. I have no idea where Leeton is.
Somewhere out in the country, isn't it? I'm not sure.
Somewhere.
I've heard of it.
It's out near Griffith, I think.
Oh, ask the country boy. Why don't ask the
There you
country
go. I know there's a racetrack there.
Ponies or
ponies.
Ponies. Righto, Robstradamus. I haven't looked at the markets I'll look that up now, what the betting is for this game. I still think it's absolutely insane that you can bet on a trial. I actually heard a rumor of a player in another team's father having money on them to score a try on the weekend, and that said player did score a try. So anyway, let's see. I'm more disappointed that I wasn't in on that rort. Rob, what are you thinking for?
Look, if it goes on anything like the trial, I would. I'm going to pick 3 try scorers. I'm going to say Nick Kotrick, Jack Whiten, and Kenny Marmalo. I think Kenny's our best bet of scoring a try. Wouldn't surprise me if Danny Levi scores a try because he's such a hog. But I'm hoping our defence is, knows plenty about him and his tricks. But yeah, Whiten's really hard to stop near the line, and our right side always gets tested. And I'm pretty sure Kotrick will be on the left wing. So yeah, that'd be my prediction. Well, whoever plays left wing, put it that way. I'm assuming it's Kotrick. He played there last year, so yeah, they'd be my. I'm not going to tip who's going to win the game because I don't like tipping against the Tigers.
All right. So who was that? Your try scorer, Kotrick?
So Kotrick, Whiten, and Marmalo.
So Kotrick's $1.84, Whiten $2.35, Kenny is $1.84. So if you put them in a multi, you're probably getting 5-1 ish. Tigers are $2.45, Raiders $1.55. So Raiders heavily favourites in this. You never know in a trial by the second half. When you've got the back end of the rosters on. That's why it's just crazy that you can actually bet on these.
True.
But anyway, 4.5 start for the Tigers. What are your predictions as for this one? Not that it matters in a trial, but have some fun with it anyway.
Yeah, I'd like to see us put up a good performance. I'm hoping we can score at least 3 tries, maybe 4. See that the attack is looking solid. 5 for that bonus point would be nice, so we can stay far away from the bottom of that preseason challenge table where we're rooted right now. But yeah.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see a good performance from the boys in attack. I'd like to see them show that there has been some work done defensively. If I had to choose it between the two, I'd prioritize defense. It would be nice to not see Canberra score a lot of points with all the weapons they have. But like Rob, I'm not going to tip a winner because I don't think it's going to be us.
Alex Twell's 975 to score a try. Wouldn't it be pretty funny that he scores a try in a trial, which doesn't
and it never
count.
counts for anything.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, would that actually count? I don't think it'd count.
No, it
No,
doesn't count.
no.
It's a trial. Yeah. There is one player on the West Tigers that's paying more than Alex 12 to score a try. Can you guess who it is?
Oh, wow.
Starter or bench?
Starter. They don't have the
Starter.
bench. They've only named starters. They haven't gone deep in the bench on this. Oh,
That's gotta be David Clemmer.
they've only got the first 17.
David Clemmer?
Yeah,
Or safety?
David
Is it
Clemmer,
Clemmer?
yeah. David
Wow.
Clemmer's an extra. He's $13 to score a try. Maybe they're expecting him to not play a lot of minutes compared to
I
Tolly.
don't think he's a try scorer though. Like you'll take
Yeah.
a really hard hit up, but you're doing well to get through to Pane and Papali'i.
I can see it with warm weather. Players just being a trial, they're not going to throw themselves into defense like it means that much. I can see it being like 40 to 30 or something ridiculous.
No, I hear you.
Try
but
scorer bets.
I'm
might
like
be
Aaron.
good.
Like I know it's good for your multis and whatever to have try scores, but I'm like Aaron. I want to see our right edge, especially improve in defense. Like
Yeah.
attack sells tickets, but defense wins games. You know what I mean? Like we if we're going to win games, we're going to have to learn to defend. So I just hope that right edge in particular, because there was one really soft try down the middle, sort of halfway between the corner post and the goal post, which was really soft, and then just what's his name, the left winger for New Zealand getting outside Scolari all afternoon was really hard to watch. So I really hope that right side defence and that whole right edge is a lot better, and hopefully it will be.
I can't not hear that name and not think of basketball with Squeak Scolari. Have you seen that movie, Rob?
I might have, but I don't remember the name being mentioned.
Look it up. It's one of the greatest comedy movies of all time. It's done by the guys from South Park. I highly recommend it. One of my favorite movies of all time. Righto, on to Patreon. So in our Discord, our Patreon members have dropped a couple of questions for them while I bring those up. Patreon.com/WestsLife. If you'd like to support the show from just $3 a month, get access to this Discord. As Rob said, I haven't read it yet, but someone dropped. It's not just Rob dropping bombs in there. The guys, saying stuff that they don't really want to put out public, and lots of good discussions, talking about other sports in there as well. So, come join the fun. Righto, what have we got today? Just the one. CJ Tiger coming into the second trial with our hopes sky high. What do the boys think a fail, pass, and dream result against a patchy Canberra side, other than coming through injury-free? For me, a pass. A pass for me would be. It's all down to starters minutes for me. In the back end of the game, when it's not starters on the field, don't really care that much. So the scoreboard at the end of 80 minutes, I don't care that much. If the starters are thereabouts with the Raiders starters, I think that's a pass for me. A dream result, I don't know, winning by anything, I think is a dream result. A fail, conceding 50, like just as Rob said, if our edge defense looks rubbish, still a fail will be basically killing our hopes and dreams. It's a trial and doesn't mean that much. But if our starters come out and they look like the starters were last week, obviously a fairly different roster, but that'll be a fail for me. What about you, Az?
So I'm going to go defensively for mine. I'm going to say the pass is conceding less than 20 points, 20 points or less. The fail is going to be 4 or more tries down either of our edges combined. Dream result, an injury-free win.
What about you, Roberto?
Hadn't thought about the dream result, but I think Aaron summed that up pretty well. Yeah, an injury-free win would be perfect. Josh, I'm going to take on board what you just said. I think that's really poignant about like what we do while the first grade unit's out there. So I'm going to make my pass mark. If we've kept the Raiders to 12 points or less at halftime, and if we have scored more than 12 points at halftime, I think that would be a success, because that'll be pretty much first-grade players on both sides of the field.
So the news, sorry to change the subject a little bit, someone in the comments did ask about the Moses update from before. So this inside word saying the club is not confident about Moses, and he heard that they haven't even made a formal offer yet. So by the sounds of it, it might drag out a little while longer.
That we haven't made a formal offer?
Yeah, that sounds like...
That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. We all know that we've made... Jeez.
Come to the Discord and Rob can tell you why you're wrong. Another fun.
The whole world can tell you why.
We'll talk about it after the show. I'll read it properly. We can all read it properly. But we appreciate all the guys. We love yous and girls. Shout out Carla in there as well. Right, moving on. Oh, we might scrape under an hour this week. This episode, boys, doing well. Just a reminder: the West Tigers season predictions episode in the Monday heading into round 1. Click the link. There'll be a link in this episode that you're listening to. There's a link. Our link tree is on our social media pages. If you go to our profile page for Instagram or Twitter, click that link. It brings up a menu of stuff. Click that thing. It brings up the Google form. So take part. We've had a few dozen people jump on that. Last I checked, I haven't checked it since yesterday, but thank you to everyone who's put it in. I think Az has put his in as well. So
I dropped an absolute beauty of a bold prediction, so I'm looking forward to seeing if mine ends up getting read out.
Oh no, I'm not gonna read out the bold prediction by my co-host.
We can pull some strings there, Aaron.
Just a comment I'll address. Freezy asked, what's the Discord the guys are on about? So Discord, for those who don't, I guess talking about Discord, if you don't know what it is, I didn't know what it was until a mate put me onto it a few years ago. It's basically an app for creating your own private chat rooms. That's essentially what it is. So it's just an app it's very big for the gaming people. I sounded so old when I just said that, but I'm not big on gaming. I'm more of a sports person, a sports nerd than a gaming nerd. I do like playing a bit of 2K, but I'm not very good at it. Shame on cricket back in the day, but it's big. It's big for gamers, but for rugby league fans as well. So shouts to Galaxy Footy explaining in the comments on YouTube there for me. Probably do a better job than I just did.
Say, Josh, that if you don't like NBA and NFL, like we've got a different page for each thing. Like when we're talking rugby league, it's rugby league.
It's different. They're called channels. They're different channels. Right. So we have an NBA one going. There's an NFL. There's an EPL one for those who like the round ball game. So there's just a whole bunch of sports fans with mostly West Tigers with a bit of fries on the side of other sports. So if you want to take part, patreon.com/WestsLife. Righto. Next episode, Monday night, 8:30 p.m. The review of this trial on Monday night. Do you guys just quickly, do you guys recognize the guy in the photo that I chose for the graphic this week? Might be a bit small on your phone.
Is it Tom Leroy last?
No, former Tiger.
I can't see. Like it's
okay. I forgot you're on your phone. It's Bronson Harrison. I was trying to think of a. I was trying to think of a. I was trying to think of a tiger turned raider that I could put on the graphic. Bronson Harrison.
Yeah, no, I didn't recognise him.
Shouts to him. We'll try and get him on the show one day. 8:30 p.m. Monday night. Tune in on YouTube and Facebook. Boys, any parting words before we head in the trial on Sunday? I'll be heading out to Belmore myself. Shouts Joey Alafacci hooking me up with my ticket. Any parting words as we head into the final trial of the off season?
No, not at all. Just let's just accept this happy stuff. It's done now, and let's hope we're right for round one in 3 weeks with a full crew on board.
And
I pretty much have to agree. It's good to have the footy back. We've got another slate of games to watch this weekend, as long as the players aren't too hot or overheated. So hopefully the players can stay fit, healthy, and uninjured. And here's to a better performance for our boys in particular than what we saw last week.
Yeah. Pray to whatever God it is that you believe in. No injuries. That's what we want. Right, boys and everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. As always, go the Tigers.
Fire up, Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife podcast.